Hello everyone, my name is Vanessa Pearson and today we will be discussing social class patterns. Overview of what we'll be talking about today are social classes and what are they, the effects of social classes in America, and the ethics that come along with income segregation. So social classes, what are they? By definition, social class means a broad group in society having common economic, cultural, or political status. So how do we determine social class? There are three methods to determine social class. These are objective, subjective, and reputational. Objective is based on hard facts like how much money do you make, what type of house do you live in, what neighborhood do you live in, what type of school you go to, and where do you work? Subjective is how people identify themselves. So typically what your likes are and what you enjoy in life. That will help you determine what social class you think you belong to. And reputational means how others identify you. And this has a lot to do with behavior. Studies actually show that others can accurately judge what social class you belong to simply based on what kinds of foods you eat or what kind of music you enjoy. So social classes, there's 5 of them: upper class, upper middle class, average middle class, working class, and lower class. Upper class, this group typically earns more than $250,000 a year. They're approximately 1% of the population. This group is wealthy in assets as well as money. So assets means they own homes, they own properties, they have things to back up their money, as well as a bank account with money in it. There's 2 categories to upper class: old money and new money. So old money means they inherited this money. They grew up with being upper class, and new money means the Oprah Winfreys of the world, or Bill Gates, or someone that worked towards that status. And this group typically holds degrees from prestigious universities. So they probably didn't go to a technical college or a public university. And this group, because of their status, they typically have a lot of social power and in politics as well. Upper middle class. This group earns between $115,000 to $250,000 a year. This makes up about 15% of income earners. About more than half of the adults in this category have college degrees, and most have postgraduate degrees. And these are our lawyers, our doctors, our engineers. Average middle class earns between $50,000 to $115,000 a year. They are about 35% of income earners. Half of this group may have college degrees, and they typically hold white-collar jobs like working in an office or administrative. Then there's a working class. This group typically earns about $25,000 to $50,000 a year, and they hold labor-intensive jobs. This group doesn't typically have a college degree. And then there's a lower class. This group earns less than $25,000 a year. They typically work hourly jobs or temp jobs without any benefits, and this consists of about 20% of Americans. So, what are the effects of social class in America? We will focus in America for this subject, and so this is where we start to see patterns. Income segregation is a big thing in America. It's actually very common. Poor neighborhoods and affluent neighborhoods, so the higher earners, those 2 neighborhoods are the most common. Mixed neighborhoods do exist, but the numbers are a lot higher in lower income and high income, and so this means that low income earners typically live near each other, as well as high income earners. They live near each other as well. So what defines poverty? Absolute deprivation of basic human needs. So this means that the people in this category have a hard time with basic necessities like food or shelter. Overall means that just the access to resources aren't the same as everybody else. So they have lower paying jobs. They struggle, to buy groceries and things like that. So how does income segregation affect society? We see it in housing. People choose to live where they can afford to live because housing is now directly related to income. High-income families tend to live near other high-income families, and low-income families tend to live near low-income families. Health. So with lower housing quality, less access to good jobs and education, stress comes into play. This results in higher risk of illness. Education. Low-income neighborhoods receive less resources because public schools receive resources from local sources. So schools in higher income neighborhoods receive more funding. Jobs. Jobs found in lower income areas may not be the best jobs that make the most money. So often people have to travel to work at a decent paying job. Politics. The politics you follow may be directly related to how much money you make and what benefits you the most. Language. So some low-income neighborhoods are populated by immigrants of other countries. This may lead to a concentration of what a spoken language is and is most popular in that location. And crime. So because of the stressors that are involved in what neighborhood you live in, like a low-income neighborhood without the best resources, crime can go up. Kids may grow up seeing the drugs and the theft and the assault or even murder, and this is just what they grew up around, and they might not even finish school, and they feel like they can make better money selling drugs or things like that. So the type of crime that happens in these neighborhoods definitely has something to do with income. And this is not to say that crime doesn't exist in higher income neighborhoods, but this is just this type of crime that's associated with income segregation in the lower income neighborhoods. So, is income equality immoral? So there's a great article that I stumbled upon, and they made a great analogy of this. So say we have $1,000 and that's all we have. So we ask this man here to learn a new skill. So we tell him, hey, we'll give you $1,000 more a year if you learn this particular new skill. So he's motivated. He wants to earn that entire $1,000, and he does it. So now let's say we bring in 9 more people. That makes it 10, and we have to distribute all this money, the $1,000, throughout these 10 people. So that now means that each of them only gets $100 a year extra if they learn this new skill. The motivation to want to learn that new skill and actually work harder is diminished. So now say we have to spread this $1,000 out to an entire population, then the incentive to learn this new skill is next to nothing. Say if we have to spread this out through like 1 million people, and it's not really worth it to have to learn a new skill to not get paid more. But now let's turn this around. We can look at it the other way around. Let's say this man does something to earn $1,000 a year less by not working. If it's just him and he loses that $1,000 a year, then that's a big chunk of money to lose a year. But say it's 10 people that he is this money is being distributed to, it's only $100 a year. But then now bring it out to the millions of people that there are, and then if he doesn't work, then it doesn't matter. So what class do you identify with, and what do you think? Should we all receive equal pay? Is that a solution? Just something to think about. So these are all the references that I used, and thank you very much.